The year was 1415, and an African empire was about to change the world. But here's what most people don't know. When Portuguese explorers sailed down the African coast, they weren't discovering anything. They were encountering civilizations that had already mastered mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and trade networks that stretched across continents. This is African History Test. And today we're challenging everything you thought you knew. Imagine you're standing in the year 1324. You're watching Mansa Musa, the ruler of the Mali Empire, embark on his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. This wasn't just any journey. Mansa Musa brought with him an entourage of 60,000 people and 80 camels, each carrying 300 pounds of gold dust. His spending was so extraordinary that when he passed through Cairo, the price of gold plummeted. Economists still study the ripple effects of his wealth across the Mediterranean and Middle East. This single man proved that African empires possessed resources and sophistication that rivaled anything in Europe. But let's go back further. By 1200 AD, the Kingdom of Zimbabwe had already constructed Great Zimbabwe, a massive stone city without using a single drop of mortar. The walls still stand today, reaching 30 feet high in places. You can walk through those ruins and feel the engineering brilliance of African builders who understood structural integrity better than most of their contemporaries across the ocean. Yet for centuries, European historians claimed Africans couldn't have built such monuments. The prejudice was as thick as the granite walls themselves. Now consider the Aksumite Empire, which dominated from around 100 to 940 AD. Aksum was so powerful and wealthy that it minted its own coins and rivaled Rome, Persia, and China as a global superpower. Archaeological evidence shows they traded with countries as far away as India and Southeast Asia. They even developed their own written language, Ge'ez, which is still used in Ethiopian churches today. This wasn't a continent of isolated tribes. This was a continent of international traders and innovative thinkers. Fast forward to the 1600s. While European nations were fighting over territories and resources, the Oyo Empire in West Africa had established a sophisticated military system and democratic governance structures that actually limited the power of their rulers. Imagine that. An African government with checks and balances centuries before democracy became fashionable in Europe. And we haven't even talked about Egypt. Ancient Egypt. When we say ancient Egypt, we're talking about one of human civilization's greatest achievements. The pyramids, the irrigation systems, the medical knowledge, the mathematical precision. Yet somehow, history has allowed this African civilization to be discussed separately, apart from African history, as if it existed in isolation. It didn't. Egypt was fundamentally